and the moral imperative on my side, given the barrage of information, the barrage of misinformation that is being fed members of the public, especially members of my constituency from Imo States, concerning the issue of allegation of my receiving bribe money from the contractor Jpros Nigeria Limited. It has become important that I must continue to state my innocence, that I must continue to tell my side of the story, that I must continue to prove to my people and all Nigerians by extension that I'm an innocent man that is falsely accused. It is in the public domain now, all over the country, that I've been accused of receiving bribe money from Jpros Nigeria Limited to the tune of 458 million naira. That is not true. Today, one more time, I state in the clearest of terms that I never solicited for such payments from Jpros Nigeria Limited or any contractor at that. Never at any point did I receive any such money or any amount of money from any contractor whatsoever. I continue to state this very, very clearly so that our people will understand my innocence. Let me take your mind back a little bit to the issues in question. The issues that has agitated my mind is the question of how I or anybody any human being can pay 458 million naira to a man who did him no favors and no services. The contract in question that Jpros Nigeria Limited is executing in Imo State was approved by the executive governor of Imo State, was really negotiated by the executive governor of Imo State, my boss, Owele Richards Okoracha. While the approval was sought and given, I wasn't even in the country. The approval was given, the principal secretary to my governor conveyed the directive of approval of the contract and payment of the sum of 1.515 billion to the Commissioner for Finance, who directed the Accountant General to make payments. Also recall that I had stated earlier that the normal process was, when such approvals are made, that the money is paid into the coffers of the State Ministry of Works, where due processes are now applied. Certificates will be raised. Based on that, vouchers will be raised, and application will be made for payment to the contractor, instead of what transpired in February of last year, where wholesale payment of the entire 100% cost and value of the contract being paid out directly to the contractor. I am not the commissioner who caused that payment to happen. I'm not the accountant general who made the payment directly to the contractor. I am not the accountant general who paid on the verbal instruction of the governor to the contractor. I was then the minister, the commissioner for works and deputy governor who wrote the contract ab initio for 1.515 billion. And never at any point did I cause this 100% payment or any payment to be made. I only found out that payment has been made to the contractor. 4 months had been made. Also recall that ab initio, before the payment of 1.15 billion naira was made to Jpros Nigeria Limited, that a payment of 200 million naira had been made to the same contractor from the government house. I did not approve the payment of the 200 million naira. The payment of the 200 million naira never came to the Ministry of Works and did not receive my approval. My question, my fellow countrymen, remains: for a man who has access to the governor, to the commissioner for finance, to the accountant general of the state who paid him directly, why would he pay me 458 million naira, which represents roughly about 46% of the total contract sum? When this man was asked why he paid me such huge amount of money, he said, because I promised him to give him jobs in the local government. 15 kilometers of road construction in the local government. In Imo State, the local government jobs, rural roads are built at 60 million naira per kilometer. But suffice to say that the local government jobs are awarded by either the local government chairman, or can be influenced by the commissioner for local government, or the governor of the state, who has sweeping influence over this. But in the case of Imo State in particular, it is common knowledge how these contracts were awarded, that I, as the deputy governor, or as then the commissioner for works, had no influence whatsoever in the giving out of local government jobs. I never wrote one single contract in the local government, did not influence any. How could somebody now give me almost 500 million naira, claiming that I will influence the award and payment of a job, that person, if he works in Imo State, must clearly understand that I had no such powers, neither do I have such powers now. It truly agitates my mind that these Jpros allegations are continually being brought to public consciousness in the print media, in the electronic media, day after day. Today, this morning, I was watching on AIT, where my state commissioner for information, Mr. Chinedu Ofo, implied that I cajoled the governor into approving the payment of Jpros Nigeria Limited. Everybody understands that I have good, cordial, brotherly relationship with the governor. But the business of the state is the business of the state. Due processes are due processes. There are ways and means that contracts are negotiated and awarded, where the establishment in Imo State chooses to do it differently, where the governor makes this approval differently, I cannot control. But I never went to the governor like he implied and cajoled him into signing on the dotted lines for him to sign for the approval of the payment to Jpros Nigeria Limited. Is laughable. It's truly laughable. But I continue to make my appeal to Nigerians. I continue to appeal to their good conscience for the application of common sense, commonsensical reasoning into what is happening in Imo State. Various issues have been raised. There is the issue I heard today also that Jpros, Joseph Dina of Jpros Limited, gave me a bottle of Blue Label whiskey. Jpros had absconded from the site. He was sought after. The Ministry of Works called him on the phone repeatedly, and we were continually informed that he had traveled out of the country. And I had informed them to tell his people, as soon as he gets back to site, to report to the Ministry of Works to make sure that proper work is going on site. When he came back to Imo State, he reported to the ministry only to tell me that he had just came back from wherever he went to. And I said, okay, if you're back, go back to the site. Probably to prove his point. He said he bought me a bottle of Blue Label whiskey and that he wanted to give it to me. I said, okay. He said he didn't have it here. I said, okay. He said he was going to come to my house later in the evening to give me the whiskey. I said, fine, just go back to site. He sought the address of my house, which everybody in Owerri, in Imo State, knows where I live on MCC Road. He came that evening, saw me at home with other people, and gave me the bottle of whiskey and left. By the time this had happened, he had gotten his contract approval. His money has been paid him by the various authorities that have played no little or no role in. How does a bottle of whiskey tie into the 1.15 billion that he has been paid before then? How does a bottle of Blue Label whiskey tie into an overpayment of 200 million naira that I was not party to? The question, who should be answering questions about who received what? Fellow Nigerians, isn't it important that the people who facilitated these huge payments, this non-adherence to due process, should be answering the questions I'm answering today? Second issue, the man said he communicated to me through text message. In the text message that I purportedly sent to his phone number, that I instructed him to pay the companies he mentioned, 3 brothers and one other company, Ishan Nigeria Limited, the sums of money. And I said, I never communicated through text messages instructing this man to pay any company through any account number, any sum of money to any bank. And he told the committee in question that he was going to bring the text messages that I sent him, that he was going to send for his MTN call log and detail. And I also told the committee that I will also provide my MTN call log and detail. And the very next day, I applied through the director of XSS for my call log at the MTN, detailing SMS messages for the month of February in question and the month of June 2012. The committee now has gone to town, to television houses, spreading this falsehood that they have judged me, that they have brought me to book. What is left is for them to jail me. They have accused me, sat over my case, passed judgment based on the hearsay of Joseph Dina of Jpros Limited, who merely said that he gave me money. And there is no single iota of proof that I did communicate to him or with him through text message detailing him to pay amounts of money into these accounts or to the companies he mentioned. I also pointed out that these companies, before now that they started mentioning them, that the companies are limited companies in Nigeria, that the Corporate Affairs Commission has information as to the promoters, the owners, the directors of this country, of these companies. Those information are as members of the public, but more importantly, by criminal investigation agencies, the police force, the SSS, the EFCC, the ICPC. Such information can be sought to determine if there is a nexus of connection between these companies and my person. directly or indirectly. Also, the text messages that I have mentioned can also be accessed through MTN. Also, I had said earlier that 458 million naira is awesome amount of money. It cannot vanish into thin air. If this money was paid by Joseph Dina into those accounts should be accessed through the bank. In establishing those accounts, the owners and the promoters of the company must have given information to the bank to enable them set up these accounts. Photographs of who took this account, who set up this account are there. Signatories to these accounts will be there. These are information that various agencies can seek for and access, even members of the public if they choose to. Such option should have been fully exhausted by my accusers and judges. I employ my fellow Nigerians to understand and appreciate the grand conspiracy to tarnish my image, to spoil my good name, to spoil my family name, which is all I have, which is all I have worked for. I had said at various gatherings in Imo State that I am not a politician. I merely come to serve the people. And all I have done is have a good relationship with His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State. A brotherly relationship. Serve the people of Imo State. Serve the governor diligently. I have put in 14 to 16-hour days to make sure that the dividends of democracy gets to my people. I have spoken out to make sure that due processes are followed. If they are not followed, it wouldn't be my fault. When the governor made the discovery that an overpayment of 200 million had been made to the contractor, I was there in his office when he shouted it. I said, my boss, Oga, if there has been an overpayment, then you understand how important it is that payments should be made through the proper channels. If these payments were made through the Ministry of Works or any ministry responsible for any contract, overpayments will not be made. If proper processes are followed, overpayments will not be made. If due processes are followed, wholesale 100% payment on contracts will not be made. I hear that the committee investigating me is investigating the immediate and remote causes of the abandonment of the contract in Imo State. Chief amongst them was the contract by Jpros Nigeria Limited. Now, it is public information that he has been paid 1.35 billion naira. It is also public information supplied by the Imo State Ministry of Works on certification that the quantum of work job accomplished by this contractor is 195 million. Now this man claims that he paid to me or whoever 458 billion. The excess of the money left in his hands, the 600 and something million naira money left, where is that money? Shouldn't the committee have also asked questions for the man to come, boggle Imo State as it were, with some people aiding and abetting that, and he just receives a thank you and is let off the hook? The police are not holding him. He's not answering to money unaccounted for in excess of 600 million. And they are telling me that they are trying me and trying to impeach me for receiving bribe money of 458 million. It is utterly laughable. But unfortunately, it's not a situation that you can laugh over. I must continue to talk to you, my fellow Nigerians, my fellow Imolites, until my innocence is proven. Until my innocence is proven. I'm an innocent man, and the security agencies, the appropriate criminal investigation agencies must wade into this matter, and my innocence will be proven. Thank you. Where he amassed his equipment at what used to be the former Imo hotels. The governor introduced him as the contractor who will be doing that route, and as a matter of fact, asked him to start right away. And then we now proceeded to formalize his contract.
So before then, no previous relationship between you and the contractor?
Before then, there was no relationship whatsoever. I had never met him. I had never met him.
The second question, sir.
Yeah.
Well,
the governor, the situation in Imo State was quite peculiar. At the inception of the administration, my governor declared that he was in a hurry to develop Imo State. That because he was in a hurry, that some of these processes will have to be waived. And to that extent, some of the processes were waived, you know. But in terms of properly writing up contracts, when we get approval from the governor, the contracts will be properly written. And when we get approval from the governor, unless some of the contracts that are paid, a lot of the contracts that were paid through the Accountant General, some of them were paid through the Ministry of Works.
Yes, sir, sorry.
Right. All contract application for approval is made to the governor, and then he approves before the contracts are awarded.
Then the payment, 100% payment, and 200 million overpayment to this same contractor.
That was the unilateral approved.
Have you ever recommended any contracts to government?
No. We don't recommend contract. We apply for approval. We do not recommend. I never recommended for approval.
But sir, I mean, you know that in government,
yeah,
who you know is competent to answer
his equipment at the site of Imo State Hotel, just like other contractors in the state were asked to bring equipment. When he looks at the equipment, when we assess their capacity through these equipment, then we seek for approval, and the government gives, and the contracts are awarded.
Sir, I'd like to know, it's something that you had no such dealing with somebody, and then he had openly come forward to accuse you. I mean, what went wrong? Something is fishy. That he didn't pay you, he didn't give you any such money, and then he came up to appear before a panel and admitted to having done so. I think there is more to what we are not getting here. That is one. Two, why would you think?
Okay. In one of the interviews I gave, my earliest interview on this matter, I stated that to the best of my knowledge, what I think has occasioned this whole situation is the forthcoming 2015 election. Truly, it's about who becomes governor in Imo State in 2015. If you recall, I had said also that, to my knowledge, there is a subsisting agreement between my elder brother, Chief Martin Agbaso, and the executive governor of Imo State, Owele Rochas Okorocha, that he will run a single term tenure. Thereafter, he will hand over to people of Owerri Zone extraction to run for governor he will support to run for governor in 2015. And every information that is available to me, every indication that is available to me has pointed in this direction. The efforts being made is truly, to be very honest and factual to you, is to tarnish the brand of Agbaso, to preclude it from the forthcoming election in Imo State. That is my honest belief. That is my honest thinking. And all the charade on top of it, all the posturing are mere dressings. The heart of the matter is the politics of 2015.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, I cannot tell you there have been indication because I've had a robust, cordial relationship with my boss, the executive governor of Imo State. We have had a very, very good relationship. The work synergy between us has been excellent. I will tell you that I was completely broadsided by these events. And instances where you have heard that I raised alarm and called him, Oga, come and clean up this mess. I hear that you started it, is the truth. Because I also had incontrovertible information to that effect. And I spoke the truth, and I told him that in clear terms. Thank you. That question, let me Imo hotels. It is not true, Agbaso. Apart from being person, numerous of them before I became a car in question is my official car. 5 million naira, and I didn't take any bribe. If I refuse first, I make money doing it. I do various businesses. It has blessed me ab initio. Benefits. It will be really, really. I am open to investigation. Information and making it available to the members of the public, and also information from these companies to the banks. There are information at the GTB and the UBA where they said these sums of money has been paid in. We are also making efforts to get at. But I think ab initio, the Imo State House of Assembly should have caused investigative authorities and vest them with the relevant information to investigate this matter, to establish a link between me and these companies, to find out and trace where these monies have gone, and to see if they have gotten into my pocket or if there is any link before they went to town on their accusations and judgment. And I know for a fact, as God lives, that eventually we'll get to the bottom of the matter. It is now irrelevant whether the Imo State House of Assembly continues with the impeachment or does not continue with the impeachment. What is paramount in my heart and what is paramount in my head also is to make sure that I clear my name from these false accusations that have been leveled against me. And at my disposal are the law courts. At my disposal are avenues of going to the police and going to the relevant authority from now to make sure that I get justice.